Good evening, everyone. You're most welcome to this webinar, and I hope it's going to be productive for all of you because this is something very relevant, and this is actually the goal that we as educators wish to have for our students. So the topic is already known to you, like how to incorporate career readiness into our school curriculum. So I'll just start off with the presentation. Is my screen visible? Have I muted everyone? Is the screen
Yes,
visible?
ma'am, visible.
Okay, fine.
Visible, ma'am. Audible, visible, everything is good.
Thank you. So this is the topic for today, to integrate career readiness into the school curriculum. And how do we go about it? Like, what exactly does this mean? So integration of career readiness in school curriculum means that we are not just preparing our students to appear for a certain exam and pass with, say, 99% or 100% marks. What actually happens is that in schools, even today, we see students who score very high marks, but when they appear for the competitive exam, then suddenly they realize that they are not fit to the bill. So it becomes very, they get discouraged, and sometimes some children, they even have a nervous breakdown. So we must try to make them career ready rather than just getting marks. It's better that we make them ready, or we prepare them for the future, for their career, which they should think of before they leave school. Because after they leave school and then they decide upon something, it's too late. So somewhere when they are around middle school, that's the time when we must try to judge and help them to understand that what exactly do they want to do when they grow up. May I request everyone to kindly mute yourselves? Somebody is talking. So what exactly is career readiness and why do we require it? Okay, because all children basically study to have a good future. So they have to be career ready before they pass out of school. They have to explore their future. Because in today's very rapidly evolving world, I'll just, one sec.
ಅಂತವೆಲ್ಲ ಏನ್ ಬೇಡ್ರಿ ಇದ್ರಾಗಿಂದ ಟೈಪ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನನಗೆ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತಾರ ನೋಡಡ ಹುಡಿ ಅಂತ.
Somebody is continuously talking. That day I did it again, I've forgotten.
Ma'am, go to more, go to settings,
Yes.
and mute everyone.
Okay, more I've gone. Meeting info.
Under it, the other things will come, no?
There's no setting which has come. Pause recording, stop recording.
Meeting setting.
captions.
Meeting setting is coming, no? Meeting setting.
Meeting info.
There you can find, ma'am.
क्या
सुंदर बनाना.
Last time I had done that, and now I don't know. One sec. Anyways, I am not, so I won't stop. Let them talk. I mean, it's not okay. I've requested also not to make noise, but fine. So in today's rapidly evolving world, it's very important, it's mandatory that we prepare our students for success beyond the classroom. It's not just getting marks, which I just said. So this integration of career readiness into the school curriculum is an essential step towards ensuring that students graduate with the knowledge, skills, and dispositions. Now, dispositions means the skills that are required to live a good and successful life, because it's all these skills are necessary to navigate, to sort out the complexities of the modern workforce. Because today, if you have working children like I have, there are so many problems, there's so much of tension that they have to go through. It's not easy. Life is not a bed of roses. So we have to somehow make them career ready and prepare them for the challenges that they will have to face when they start working. Because school, we have a very protected environment. The teachers are protective, the principal is protective. So when they go out into the world, which is big, bad, and ugly, then they realize that suddenly, they've come out into a place where they have to fend for themselves. So we have to make them prepared for the challenges they will face in their career field or the field of their career. So this is like why we have to integrate career readiness in school curriculum. So I'll discuss the reasons why we need to have career readiness in school curriculum. Firstly, enhanced relevance of education. Okay. Now, what do we have to do is we have to connect the academic learning to real world career applications. Like just when I'll take my own example. I used to think as a young girl that teaching is something very easy. You just go to the class and you give a lecture and you come back. But when I started teaching, I realized it's not just lecturing. There's so much more to it. There's so much of paperwork. Similarly, we think that doctors just have to examine the patients, write the prescription, and treat them. But the kind of paperwork they have to do, the kind of files they have to maintain, the kind of records they have to maintain, it's something that we cannot even think of. Even when a patient gets admitted, the ward people, the ward master and the nurses over there, they have to maintain a lot of records. So when we are students or when we are teaching students, we do not relate them, we do not make them understand that how is this academic learning that they are doing today, how is it going to be related to their real life situations later on. So this is what we have to promote. We have to connect the academic learning to real world career applications. The second necessity is to empower them to make good decisions once they know what they have to do, right? Like, for example, I'll give a very simple example from real life. If I have to have a tea party at home or if I have to have dinner at home, I will decide the menu accordingly. I cannot have chapatis and parathas for tea party and samosa for dinner. That would be ridiculous. Similarly, when they have to make decisions for their life, for their career later on, they have to be empowered. They have to be having a very good decision-making power so that they do not make wrong decisions. Otherwise, they themselves will have to suffer. So their future will become good. They will be self-aware and they will have good personal growth. The third reason is to improve their employability. Now, employability again is very important because ultimately every child, whether it's a boy or a girl, they want to work. Okay, so we have to equip these students with the necessary skills and competencies. And it could be just anything. It's not necessary today for children to become doctors and engineers or maybe lawyers. They can just pursue any kind of career. It could be singing, it could be dancing. So once we as teachers, we realize what kind of skills and competencies our children have, accordingly we can guide them and help them have employability. Today we have so many choreographers in the film industry or even otherwise, even in the TV, who are earning in crores. So it's not that dancing or music cannot give employability. So we have to realize and we have to make the children realize their skills and competencies so that later on when they grow up, they have good employability. Then we as teachers have to be a bridge between the academia and the industry. when we integrate career readiness into our curriculum. How we do it, I'll discuss that also. So we are going to bridge the academics with the requirements of the industry. So between the classes of 7th to 12th, in fact 7th to 10th, the teachers have an increased responsibility. They have to see, they have to understand, they have to realize the potential of their students and accordingly guide them. They must have career counseling, not at the professional level, but teachers should get some time. They should be given some time to counsel their students and understand their skills, their competencies, and accordingly guide them in the field that they feel would be the best for their students. This career readiness also promotes lifelong learning amongst students. It cultivates a mindset of lifelong learning. Like I've seen in my own experience that children study something in one year, in their one academic year, and they forget it easily by the next year. This is not education. This is just mugging up, and I'm totally against it. So what I feel is that if we teach something to students, it should be lifelong. It should not be done just for the purpose of getting good marks. So if we have career readiness, then whatever the children learn, for example, I'll give another example. Suppose we are teaching a particular geometrical operation to students. I'm forgetting that particular term. So how is it relevant? Like if a child is to become an engineer, then he or she can use that formula in the real life perspective. So whatever it is, if a child is interested in biology, then knowledge of blood, muscles, whatever, physique can be given. So what happens is that when the children do things themselves, they have to be made to do things themselves. They have to experiment. They have to do it on their own, because what the child hears is easily forgotten. What he sees is easily forgotten. But what the child practices himself or herself, they always remember. So when they do this, when they cultivate a mindset of lifelong learning, then they will be able to adapt themselves for an ever-changing job market. Okay. I remember yesterday, KBC, Kaun Banega Crorepati episode, there's a girl who's going to continue today also. Amitabh ji asked her that what does she want to do when she grows up? And I was actually floored by her answer. She said, I want to be a scientist and I want to be an inventor. So he said, what will you invent? She says, I'll invent a TV which can be rolled up and carried, because when I go out, I don't have a TV to watch. And this TV would be such a one that even if you put 25 kgs weight on it, it will not break. And something which really struck me was, I mean, how much can the children think of? She said that I will also, invent a kind of a Wi-Fi which comes out of forests. From plants through their waves and whatever. I mean, I really don't know what is there in her mind. But look at the idea. She says that if you go out to some place which is very remote, there are no towers. So you lose your connection. But I'll make something which makes Wi-Fi available through the natural resources which are there. I mean, what kind of a thought this girl has is amazing. So this is what happens when children are so gifted. The next point or requirement is economic development. So if we produce a well-prepared workforce, they're not confused, they know what they are doing, then schools will be able to contribute very good professionals, and these good professionals are definitely going to go out into the world and create very good economic prosperity for our country. It's not just the country that we think of now. Everything has become global. So our students will go out and they will establish their supremacy in the world because they know what they have to do. They are not confused at all. They are very, very sure of what they are doing, what they intend to do. Again, if we integrate this career readiness into the education or into our education, we can promote social equity. Now, social equity is, see, in a school, there are children coming from so many different social backgrounds. But what we as teachers have to do is to make them feel equal. Don't we promote equality? which is guaranteed in our constitution. So regardless of which background they are coming from, we have to see what is their natural ability. And then we have to provide them with the necessary tools to succeed in their workplace. If a child draws very well, could become an artist or could become an architect. If a child, or maybe even a civil engineer or a mechanical engineer, because they have to draw very, very intricate drawings. So again, or if a child does exceptionally well in sports, then he or she can get a silver or a gold or a bronze medal for us in the international arena. So when these children come from whatever socioeconomic backgrounds, we have to see them as one and prepare them for life. And this is what curriculum readiness, when we put into our curriculum, it's going to help out, or it's going to be really fruitful and beneficial. Also, it increases civic engagement. Now, what happens is when we sort of instill career readiness into education, it fosters a sense of responsibility. Like if you give a responsibility to a child, he will do it to the best of his ability. Even the most notorious, I will not use the word notorious, even the most mischievous or naughty child of your class, if you give him or her a responsibility, you will see a drastic change in their personality. Suddenly they become responsible. So when they feel that they have a responsibility, they just go all out to carry that to the best of their ability. So as a whole, as the society as a whole will prosper if we start giving, career information or readiness in our curriculum, if we incorporate it. Another very important thing in this arena is the involvement of parents and their empowerment. What happens is that when you call parents, they feel like being a party to whatever their children are doing. They can see what the teachers or the school is doing for their children. So when they also participate, when they also pool in their resources, you see that your task becomes a whole lot easier. And they also can guide their children accordingly. Because if the teacher or the principal or the school tells the parents that this is what your child is good at, and please help him or her, then parents also become more inclined towards the education of their children. Otherwise, they feel that it's just the school's duty to educate their child. But if we empower them, we also make them come to the school, and we use them for different activities, which I'm going to discuss later, we'll see much better results in the form of our children doing well in their lives. The next one is that if we incorporate curriculum readiness in our school duration, we will see that the school culture also prospers a lot. Now, what happens is there's a supportive environment which is built up. And when this environment is there, it encourages students to explore their interests. Some students are not aware of what they are wanting to do. They're still at a loss. If you ask an 8th grade student, what do you want to be? He'll think. Most of them, I'm not too sure. I have to think. After my 10th, I'll think. But then that will become too late. So when you, create that kind of culture around them, it becomes easier for these young children to understand what they would want to do and what should they pursue according to their aspirations. Because many a times you don't know yourself. What do you want to do? I wanted to be a doctor, but now today I'm an educationist and I have absolutely no regrets. In fact, I'm happy that I'm not a doctor today. I'm happy to be an educationist. How that happened is a long story. But the thing is that when you get to do something, you should be happy about it. You should feel contented. You should feel that, yes, this is what I wanted to do in life. And that's exactly what I feel today. I'm happy that I'm not a doctor, because probably I was not cut out to be a physician. Now, next, this is the most important part of the webinar, that what are the ways to implement career readiness, right? So these are the ways in which you do it. I'll just go quickly because I'm already 20 minutes through. So we have to infuse career-ready skills in our students. That is problem solving, communication, teamwork. Now, these are again those 4 C's of the 21st century teaching techniques. Collaboration, all this has to be infused. So this means we have to have class activities which use these skills, the problem solving skills. Next is we have to have career themed projects. So we must design projects which allow students to apply their academic knowledge to real world career scenarios. For example, if a child is say inclined to become an engineer, so you have an environment, you create a scene and then say, okay, this is the client and this is you are the engineer. So according to the client's requirements, you tell him or her how would you design the project. So when they do it in real life situation, they feel very happy. Another very good thing is to have guest speakers coming and taking up workshops. Like, for example, we can call a very highly reputed surgeon to the school, and he or she talks about his or her experiences in the field of medicine. So children get, they feel encouraged, and there are so many different careers that we can present to them by calling guest speakers, and they're taking up of workshops. It could be just about anyone. You can call a defense officer. He can relate or she can relate his or her experiences during wartime. So children feel excited. They want to hear what has happened. And there are so many children who get motivated by these guest speakers. A child who may be wanting to do something else, then suddenly after seeing maybe a DIG or a brigadier or a general in school, suddenly wants to become a police officer or wants to take up the army as career, or maybe Air Force or Navy, whatever. Okay, so guest speakers can do wonders to your school. Another one is to have career forums and exposures. So we can have events in the school where potential employers can be called. I mean, they could be just about anyone. You can have some managers from the bank, or you can have maybe some highly placed official from a corporate kind of setup. So when they come, I mean, you'll have to treat them nicely, and the invitation has to be very polite and all. So when these people come, and they probably conduct a mock kind of a workshop or an interview, so students get to know how to prepare for these interviews. Then we can have mentorship programs. So here we have students paired up with experienced professionals for guidance and support. These professionals have to come up on their own. They have to be invited, and if they are willing to do it, it's going to be really nice on their part. Then internship opportunities. Children can, you can have a kind of, work out this kind of a setup with certain people, so that children go and they do internship in certain offices or certain setups, and they can work in that real life situation. And yes, career counseling, of course, most of the schools are doing. So you can have comprehensive career counseling services, which professionally help the child to understand their, you can say, their own potential, their skills. Because many a times, as I said earlier, children are confused and they're not able to understand what exactly they want to do. We can have career planning resources. We can have online and offline resources. And the thing is that we have to provide information to students, whether it's online or offline, and give them a lot of career options to choose from. We must also teach them how to write resumes. I think that is still missing from the CBSE syllabus. So resume writing is also very important, and this must be taught. Even if it's not there in the syllabus, they must be taught how to write an effective resume. The alumni can help, a lot in creating this kind of atmosphere in the school. Some highly placed alumnus can come, can be invited, and if he or she, gives a little talk to the present students, then they'll be able to do much better, and they will understand that, this particular thing can also be good. Another one is to have community partnerships. This is a little tough to organize, but then if we want to, we can definitely do it. So we can collaborate with local businessmen and organizations and create a mutually beneficial partnership. Children would love to go out to work for them, and these local businesses, because they're getting free workers, they'll be happy to have your students. So they get work and students get experience, which is really nice. Sorry. Okay. So to conclude, I can say that if we integrate career readiness into the school curriculum, this is the best investment that we can do for the school, for the student, and for the society as a whole, because this provides students with the knowledge, the skills, and dispositions which are necessary to succeed in their lives later on. In turn, what do? We empower them. They become more productive, they become more engaged, and they become fulfilling members of their community. So as today we are navigating the challenges of the 21st century, so career readiness education is not a luxury, it is a necessity. So let's embrace this critical aspect of education. Let us try to make our schools, the managers, the principals, understand the importance of integrating career readiness in our school curriculum, because this is going to pave a way for the generation of those students who are going to work in an environment which is always changing. It is an ever-changing world of work. So thank you so much for watching this presentation, and I hope to see you soon, because I'll be coming back with another relevant kind of a topic for teachers and even for principals or managers. So I'll stop sharing for the time being. Thank you so much, everyone. Any questions are most welcome if you wish to have. Just, yeah. I hope it was beneficial.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
And any questions about any particular profession, if you would want to ask, or something on, professional counseling, etc. Which level is right to start career guidance? I think 7th and 8th. Right, Mahalakshmi ma'am? The level to start career is, like I said earlier also, after class 6, I think we as teachers must start guiding our students towards their future careers. We give them options. See, that's the way to do it. You have to give them the options which are available as of now. And we teachers have to do a lot of research, keep seeing the net, keep looking at, the current trends. If you can get in touch with your alumnus, your alumni, that is something which is very nice. I am a member of a school organization. I mean, I worked there in the 90s. So though I do not post any, post myself, but there are students who are writing, and it's so heartening to see the students in the 2000s and 90s. They're working in such wonderful places. Somebody is an IAS officer. Somebody is working as a very high bank official in Australia. So as teachers, you feel very fulfilled. So today, I was a teacher long back, but for you all who are the current teachers and educators, I don't like calling you all as teachers, because you are educators. You are the ones who are actually making lives good for your students. So these extra things, if you do for your students, I'm sure they're going to remember you for life, and they'll be very thankful. So with that, I'll end today's session. Thank you all for being here. And it's so nice to be talking to you and sharing my views with you all. Thank you. Good evening. Have a wonderful Thursday tomorrow. No, tomorrow is Wednesday. Yeah. So have a wonderful Wednesday. I'm ending the meeting. Good evening. Good night. Bye-bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Good evening.
Good evening.